Wow, putting myself into a PlayStation 5 was probably the best decision I've ever made. We've got trees, we've got games, we've got... You know, there's a lot of things in the PS5 that I can explain, and this isn't one of them. You may be asking, why did I transport myself into a PlayStation 5? Well, I'm on the hunt for Sonic the Hedgehog related anomalies, and I thought this would be the best place to start. Oh, that was just a copy shot of the Hedgehog. You know, that makes me think about the gimmicks that Sonic has had over the years. Gimmicks and Sonic go together like peanut butter and seaweed. They go well sometimes. Sonic has been with gimmicks since the very beginning. If you really want to stretch it, Sonic himself was technically a gimmick at one point to sell Genesises and steal the marketing share from Nintendo. But I'm not going to go over those kind of gimmicks today. I'm talking in-game gimmicks. Gimmicks that were made to sell Sonic games. Sonic and Blaze are kissing? Well, don't mind if I do! Before I begin, I should set some ground rules. To make sure this video doesn't go over an hour, I'll only be going over the mainline console games plus a few others. So, no handheld games and no spin-offs like Mean Bean Machine, the SEGA Superstars games, and stuff like that. Also, I'm skipping the classic games since they don't really have gimmicks. They were just made to sell Genesises pretty much. Sonic Adventure's gimmick was quite simple. Sonic 3D now. Sonic did have a rough transition into the 3D space despite what Sonic fans will tell you. Sonic Extreme went through development hell, Sonic 3D Blast wasn't praised on release, and Sonic the Fighters wasn't recognized by the masses. With Adventure, they went all in advertising it with a Dreamcast, and this was Sonic's first true jump into 3D. There were commercials, public demos, partnerships with AT&T. You know they went crazy when AT&T was involved. That's kind of it. Sonic 3D now. Sonic Adventure 2. This game was the final Sonic game to be released on a SEGA console, and what a way to chicken out of the console space. The game's gimmick here was the ability to choose what side you would fight on. You could play as the heroes, Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles with their own unique moveset, or play as the villains with the classic Dr. Robotnik and newcomers Rouge the Bat and Shadow the Hedgehog, with the same moveset as the heroes. Each story gives you the perspective of the side you chose. If you chose the heroes, you have your classic Go Stop Eggman plot with Sonic being framed by Shadow. If you chose the villains, you have to fight to destroy the world by any means necessary, and learn more about Shadow in his dark past. When you complete both sides, you get one final section playing as all the characters leading up to a boss with the Super Hedgehogs, and Shadow sacrificing himself by the end. This idea was really fun. Being able to see both sides of one story and having them build up to one final battle was intriguing and a fantastic way to end Sega's run as a console manufacturer. Released in 2003, Sonic Heroes is up next and was the first multi-platform Sonic game. Because of this, a lot of people were introduced to the franchise of this game, and rightfully so. The game specifically wasn't titled Sonic Adventure 3, and didn't expand on the lore too much so that newer fans wouldn't feel lost. The game features the ability to play as 3 characters at once. You'd have 3 different types of characters for each of the 4 teams: Speed, Flight, and Power. You would switch between each character in between stages and level them up as you reach a checkpoint. Each character in these categories have a different moveset, adding variety to the stages. The Speed characters are the fastest of the group, using the all-new Rocket itself, which is powered by the other 2 members, giving the Speed characters a boost, and the Blue Tornado to flip enemies on their backs. The Flight characters can only be used in flight formations, unlike the other 2. They obviously can fly, they can kick their teammates to attack enemies or attack switches. Oh, and Tails uses the dummy rings in the battle mode if all your characters die. Best character in the franchise. The Power characters get the ability to use their teammates as boxing gloves. They can throw their teammates at enemies like cannonballs and glide across the stage. Unlike a majority of people, I really enjoy the gimmicks used here. It's fun, it's unique to the franchise, and had Knuckles swear. What's not to love? Shadow the Hedgehog. One of the greatest games ever made. It may not control well, it may have a garbage story, but all is forgiven for the unintentional comedy. This was the first Sonic game that was planned to be aimed towards a mature audience, with the game's original rating being T for teen. However, when the ESRB rating introduced the Everyone 10 and Up rating and Sega saw that Donkey Kong Barrel Blast used the rating, it was very apparent that Shadow had to use the rating. So thus, the game's more mature themes were downplayed. But the ones that stayed includes weapons such as actual guns, swords and signposts, characters using mild swears,
"Where's that damn 4th Chaos Emerald?"
and racism towards aliens.
"Disgusting black creatures, get out of my sight."
The game revolves around Shadow questioning his past after losing his memories from his fall in Sonic Adventure 2. You can choose one of multiple paths to decide Shadow's fate: joining Sonic in the military to take down the Black Creatures, join the Black Creatures in their conquest to destroy the Earth, or go your own path. None of that matters though, because the hero ending is the canonical one with the final story that has Shadow take down the Black Creatures once and for all. I mean, if this is why Shadow sold 2 million copies, I don't see why they didn't do it again. Oh. Sonic the Hedgehog 2006 was the first Sonic game to be on high definition systems.
Back into me! The rain keeps coming back into me!
Moving on. Sonic Unleashed was the first mainline Sonic game after the failure of Sonic the Hedgehog 2006, and with that, the game was bashed hard. The reasoning for this was the game's main gimmick, the Werehog. Sonic turns into the Werehog because of the energy from Dark Gaia taking hold of his physical form in the evening. So in the evening, instead of the boosting stages that would go on to be featured in games like Colors and Generations, we have God of War style beat 'em up stages with platforming in the mix. This gameplay style most definitely has its fans, and I'm not one of them. I'm not a fan of the way that the beat 'em up style gameplay is done here. I don't know what it is, but I just don't like it. I haven't tried Devil May Cry, Bayonetta, or God of War, so I may have to try those, then go back to the Werehog to really get my footing. But for now, this isn't for me. People say that it gets really good when you max out your stats, but I don't want to play the Werehog stages 17 times per day for a month, so I'm good. This is definitely my least favorite of the gimmicks that we've talked about so far, and I talked about Shadow the Hedgehog. What could possibly be after this? Huh. Sonic and the Black Knight was a game that I remember enjoying when I was younger. That said, this was back whenever I considered Mario Party 10 a good game, so a replay was definitely necessary. And I'm about to excite a lot of Black Knight fans when I say this. It's fine. The game's selling point is Sonic having a sword. This was most likely done because of the Wii's motion controls. You can shake the Weir mode and Sonic will swing the sword. The game is really linear and feels very on rails. I can see why its predecessor Secret Rings had automatic acceleration since you never went back or made hard turns, and when you did, it would do it for you. Here you have to hold forward on the analog stick at almost all times, and even when you get to a curve, you can still hold the stick forward and it'll act like you're moving all around. The sword controls are also incredibly automated. You can do multiple moves depending on how you swing the remote, but they all just do the same thing. They aren't that special. But in bosses, you have to swing them at the proper rhythm. Woo! I'm not the biggest fan of Black Knight's gimmick here. It feels really boring a majority of the time. Speaking of gimmick that I'm not the biggest fan of, here's a gimmick that I am the biggest fan of. Sonic Colors uses the Wisps as its gimmick. Now, I've gone over the Wisps before whenever I talked about Sonic Colors as a whole, so I won't stay on this topic for long. The Wisps are creatures that Eggman is using to power his all-new space amusement park, and is transforming them into negatively powered monsters. And Sonic and Tails are the only ones that can save the Wisps and get their planet back. The 8 different races of Wisps give Sonic unique abilities that don't take away from the main boost gameplay like the other games in the Boost Dash. As you go through the game, you can collect different types of Wisps and go back to previous stages to use them there and unlock secrets like red rings, faster passages, or even both. This is no doubt my favorite gimmick that I've gone over and will probably be my favorite out of all of them when I'm done. I say that because the next thing that we're going over is a dead meme. Sonic Generations is a game that celebrates Sonic's 20-year-long run with different levels from some of his most iconic games and the return of his younger self from the SEGA Genesis days, with his original moveset and all. Classic Sonic plays really well here. It's incredibly accurate to his original games, despite his spin dash being pretty overpowered. I'm not the biggest fan of bringing back older stages. It makes the game feel unoriginal, but hey, it's a celebration game and we already got a full original game a year ago, so I'm not complaining. There isn't much to Generations gimmicks. It's old levels and the original Sonic. But we get to fight Perfect Chaos again. Let's go! Sonic Lost World.
Whew, that was cool. Pun entirely intended.
Sonic Forces is confusing when it comes to gimmicks. At one point it feels like they have a gimmick, then there's another, then there's another, and another, and another, and another. There's the ability to make your own custom character to fight alongside Sonic, which is pretty cool. They have a lot of stuff for your character to wear, but when you play as them you feel like you're controlling a soap dish. The game has a darker tone, harking back to the days of the old Sonic cartoons and, to an extent, the adventure games, but it's not a good plot whatsoever. Classic Sonic is back. Are they trying to appeal to the classic games again? And why does he control like I'm trying to open the settings in the Wii U now? They brought back a bunch of villains. Oh wait, you can only fight the 2 most boring ones, and the 2 most exciting ones only show up for 2 seconds. And they aren't even the actual characters anyways. They brought back a bunch of Sonic's friends, but you can't play as them, and a majority of them do nothing to the plot. I need a break. Well, there you go. That was the history of Sonic gimmicks. This was certainly a trip and a half to say the least. Despite how I came off for some of these, gimmicks are very important to a game's success on the market. Without gimmicks, casuals will be asking, isn't this the same game as last time? If you have interesting enough gimmicks, people will buy your games and see what they have to offer. If Shadow the Hedgehog can sell 2.06 million copies, anyone can. Unless you're Balan Wonderworld, that's the only exception. Yeah, I probably went on for that long enough. I'm gonna go back to finding some Sonic-related anomaly. Wait, no! There was a Sonic Eliminate Leak right there!